Hello, this is Stevie Kane, and this is my presentation on gender equality, Sustainable Development Goal number 5. My first question is, what is gender equality? It is the concept that all women, men, girls, boys, trans, and gender diverse have equal treatment, conditions, and opportunities for realizing their full potential. It also implies that all interests and needs are taken into consideration and human beings are free to develop their full potential without limitations set by stereotypes and gender roles. Gender equality means all genders. So stereotypes about gender roles, men are often stereotyped to be strong. They cannot cry, and if they do, it is seen as a weakness. They are often seen as the breadwinner, while women are supposed to be the homemakers. Trans and gender diverse individuals are typically forced to hide their identities and are at greater risk for mental illness and abuse. Children will struggle with sense of self if they are forced to follow gender stereotypes or gender roles at an early age. And the wage gap for women and men. Men are often paid more than women, even if they have the same education. I've highlighted 5 reasons for gender equality, or 5 causes for gender equality in my mind map. Here are 5 of those: poor medical care, violence, societal mindsets, lack of legal protections, and lack of bodily autonomy. Women will experience complications in pregnancy and birth, which were the leading cause of death among girls 15 to 19 globally. And they're likely unable to raise funds for abortion, which leads to children born into poverty. 1 in 5 girls and women ages 15 to 49 will experience physical or sexual violence from their partners. Societal mindsets is another issue with gender inequality. Though people can receive backlash when they are not conforming to gender roles. So stay-at-home dads can be seen as a weakness, and women who are in the workforce typically struggle with backlash. By the age of 6, some U.S. girls don't think that they are as smart as boys, and stereotypes are generally agreed upon across all cultures. Lack of legal protections. There's a lack of education on how to seek help with sexual abuse or rape. More than 1/3 of the countries do not have laws prohibiting sexual harassment. And lack of bodily autonomy. There are 45% of women who cannot make their own decisions about sexual and reproductive health. Oftentimes, women are denied abortions or birth control without partner consent. And this is due typically to doctor preference. Some doctors believe that women may change their minds later, or that they need to seek the authorization from their male partners. So falling under lack of bodily autonomy is abortions. I talk about the Senate Bill 8 under my mind map. It's also known as the Texas Heartbeat Bill. It was passed in September of this year, September 2021. And it's a ban on abortions after 6 weeks when a heartbeat is typically detected via ultrasound. The bill allowed private citizens to sue anyone who provides abortion or helps someone get an abortion after that heartbeat is detected. There is currently a lawsuit that's been filed to prevent the bill from being enforced. So my survey, I included 2 parts to the survey other than the demographic questions, which were age range. I asked for 18 to 22, 23 to 30, 31 to 40, 41 to 50, etc. I asked for gender identity, male, female, non-binary, gender fluid. And I also asked if they were pro-life, pro-choice, pro-abortion, or if they were unsure. And I asked for their thoughts on abortion. So again, I said that there were 2 parts to my survey. I wanted to see if there was a correlation between those individuals who had been sexually assaulted and their thoughts on if abortion was legal. So I asked if the participants had ever been assaulted and at what age, and I allowed for multiple responses on this question because many times people are assaulted, at multiple ages in their lifetime. I asked where the assault occurred, and I gave the options of in the home, at the workplace, or in a public or social setting. And I asked if they had told anyone. I was not prepared to find out that 6 out of 20 individuals who took my survey had never told anyone. And I stated previously that I wanted to know if those who had been sexually assaulted would also agree that abortion should be illegal, or the choice of each individual. And the results here showed that my suspicion was accurate. 80% of those that took my survey had been sexually assaulted, and 85% of them agreed that it should be legal in special circumstances. I did have one male individual who selected that he had never been sexually assaulted and that abortion should be illegal, but he also said that abortion would be okay if the mother or the birthing person were in danger. I included here my e-magazine. It talks about what is happening to women currently, how the pandemic has affected women's rights, how can we end the violence against women, and how to get help. So the pandemic violence actually increased. It's called the shadow pandemic right now. It happened because of economic and social stressors, as well as travel limitations. This fueled an increase in gender-based violence. Most of these individuals were stuck at home with their attackers. So before the pandemic, there was 1 in 3 women reported being violated, and that statistic increased to 1 in 2 during the pandemic. The lifetime cost of rape is actually $122,461 per victim. It includes medical visits, loss of work, and criminal justice activities. So what can we do in order to change society's views on gender equality? Here I've listed several things, such as sharing household chores. They should never be a gendered task, and caring for the home and children can be done by all individuals involved. Noticing signs of violence, individuals can seek help and support for those who they know may be experiencing violence. Finding female candidates and voting for those women in your area. Supporting mothers and parents. And listening and reflect. Listen to others when they share their stories or their issues with you. Notice how that you respond and learn how to better advocate for them. One thing I highlighted was workplace harassment as just a minuscule thing that happens in gender equality. As I said before, gender equality is equality for all genders. So it happens to all genders. It includes spreading rumors or lies about individuals. It includes unwelcome touching from others, such as hugs or a hand on a shoulder, and sexual jokes or innuendo. 20% of individuals in the workforce experience inappropriate humor. I created this video on workplace harassment as my PSA included it on my develop page. While it does stray a little from the violence and abortion that I've mostly focused on, workplace harassment falls under a violation of rights. And it is one location in which women experience harassment or assault. So I included it again in my ed puzzle, and the questions are: what does it look like? How often it occurs? What are the effects? What can we do to prevent it? And what can you do in the event that it happens to you? So I've already discussed what it looks like, and I wanted to mention a couple of the other bullet points. Workplace harassment can lead to individuals underperforming due to stress or avoiding work altogether. It can also lead to anxiety and depression. If you do experience harassment in the workplace, a few things you can do include telling the abuser to stop if you are feeling comfortable to do so, speaking to your supervisor, or if it continues and your supervisor does not help, you can seek assistance from human resources. So what can we do in all to help with workplace harassment? There are many things a company can do that would allow for a safe work environment and that promotes gender equality. Some of them are seen here, and individuals can also make their companies aware of any issues by asking about their policies and fighting for equal wages. Thinking about what you say before you speak actually goes a long way. There is a right and wrong way to speak to coworkers, and treating them with respect shows that you are an ally. Employers can provide training on appropriate work environments and sexual harassment. And lastly, listening and reflecting. So listen to your coworkers if they tell you they're uncomfortable with your humor or your behavior, and advocate for them if they are experiencing this issue. I did not get to share this PSA because I did not believe I had a good enough outcome for my survey. So I did learn a lot via this project about gender equality, and I'm actually really appreciative of this class. Thank you very much.